Otherwise, I do believe that Pakistan is generally much more than what they have performed for the day. They've not been able to manage a decent hit to go back to their parliament and to say one line of truth. Their prime minister said, we've downed 5 Rafales and then God Allah had saved us, and then how Pakistan is so great, and then how the entire parliament thumped. They were thumping on a lie. They couldn't, substantiate that even on a television studio. The defense minister was all over the place trying to tell that I heard it from the social media. So that is the narrative that they are banking on.
Okay.
So, rip Pakistani intellect, banking on which they came to fight a war, and that too they banged against the wrong man, Modi. Because if it was somebody 10 years back, probably they would have got away with it. But not with this man and not in this mode.
Okay, Wing Commander, we'll leave the psyops and the disinformation. What we're trying to make sense of is military strategy. So let me go back to General Iyer. War game this out for us. All our guests have said that, look, this is the first step. We have added this first new step in the chain of escalation. What happens next? If, for example, and I agree with the Wing Commander's point, I think there's a degree of irrationality that's being sort of built in into what the Pakistan Army and specifically I think the Pakistan Army Chief is trying to achieve. This is not rational behavior. This is completely irrational behavior. But try and make sense of this for our viewers as to what happens next if he's not able to see reason.
So Zaka, before I go there, I'd like to go about 12 hours behind in time. There is a reason behind it. Please understand what we did in the daytime of yesterday. People were talking about, we fired drones. No, we didn't fire drones. We fired the Harrops. The Harrops are anti-AD systems. We destroyed his ADs the entire day. We knocked all his AD out, and that is why his entire Air Force became a little unuseful, if I was to use the word. He also realizes that tonight is the only night available with him because tomorrow the IMF loan things comes up. So this was a very, very easy off-ramp time for him. Had he been able to achieve the SEAD as the wing commander was bringing out with the help of those drones, had he got a little window, he would have launched 3 or 4 aircrafts, done something, gone back and then said, I have achieved it. The very fact that his aircrafts have crossed the IB today, and in that harakiri, he's possibly lost 2 or 3 aircrafts. Like you say, we are all waiting for confirmation. But assuming those points are right, that the DGISPR has claimed that 2 of these aircrafts have gone down. Throughout yesterday, when we were attacking his assets, he did not cross the IB. He retained that initiative inside his own lines. He was possibly looking at today's window to achieve something before the flag of the IMF goes up tomorrow. Now to come to your question as to what's going to happen to him tomorrow. Firstly, let's understand we are confronting a very professional armed force. Let's not belittle him on that. Whether it is Air Force or his army, both are extremely professional, and whatever little bit of navy that he has, that is also extremely professional. So it is not a T20 game that 2 days and we'll have ceasefire coming up. No, it doesn't happen that way. What is he going to do now? I do presume that there has to be something he'll try to do on the ground. Having failed to achieve something in the air, he would like to do some kind of a thing on the ground. I am worried he may even launch something like his SOG, try to do something which mirrors our surgical strikes of 2016. Possibly go behind our forward lines, do some kind of a nasty thing in our depth areas and get back, and that could be his so-called flag on which he can exit. Tonight, in my mind, is going to be a very crucial night because he is now running against time. His Air Force, by large, has now not been able to achieve what he set out to achieve and is not likely to achieve tonight because whatever window he had is all over. Now, his long-range vector, the missiles also been knocked out by us. So he knows that is not going to achieve anything. He doesn't have a very big, very strong navy to do anything on the sea. All that is left with him is the army. and to have a major ground offensive happening over one night is also not likely to happen. So what I am visualizing is some set of actions, possibly along the line of control, where he may end up doing something along with something which he calls as his light commando battalion. Now you must know this light commando battalion is a group which has got regular troops, irregular troops, and it has support inside our territory. All these militant groups which are available, they all form part of this light commando group. He can apply this light commando group along with this SOG in a coordinated manner to achieve a very small little victory, which in my mind is likely to give him some kind of a bargaining space before he calls it off tomorrow. So I am worried about tonight. I hope that we are able to thwart all of his aims and attempts tonight. I don't see anything much coming from the air in the next 24 hours.
Okay, I'm curious to know about this whole IMF bailout, one tranche of which is up for discussion tomorrow, and Pakistan is hoping that they will get it. From what I remember, it's over $1 billion. So, Sushant Sareen, paint this for us. There are only two things that can happen tomorrow. Either the IMF says that, look, we've looked at the situation here between India and Pakistan. It's on the brink of all-out war. In this situation, and particularly after what's happened tonight with this swarm of drones being sent, we can't sort of sanction this money, or we can't sign off on this money. That's one possibility. The other possibility is that despite whatever's happened tonight, they say, okay, go ahead, here's a $1 billion check. The point is, how do both of these scenarios play out, and do they have any bearing at all on the behavior of the army and the army chief as to what they will do next?
So, Zaka, if the IMF was to release the next tranche, I think the Pakistanis would feel that, they haven't lost any international support and they can pretty much carry on as usual. The fact that whatever skirmishes are right now taking place, exchanges have been taking place, the fact that forces are on the move on both sides, will certainly put enormous amounts of pressure on the Pakistani fiscal. But will it really break their back? I don't think so, not just yet. The thing is that, however, if the IMF was to stop the loan or to delay it or postpone it under whatever pretext, that can only happen because, look, at the technical level, the loan has more or less been approved, which is why it's gone up to the staff level. The director level.
Executive director level.
Now, when all these people sit together, they will have to decide whether they're going to approve the loan or not. And that's by voting. Now, India just has about 3.5% share. So our vote doesn't really count. But if the Americans, for example, were to hold out and not vote in this thing, they have the position to exercise a veto with the 17%, because 15% allows you a veto. So the Americans are in a position to veto this. If the Europeans or the Japs or somebody else gets together with us, we can still veto it, but that will only ultimately the Europeans and the Japanese and some of these other fellows will only take the lead of the Americans. So I think the American role is going to be critical in whether this tranche goes through or not. Now, if this tranche doesn't go through, then it puts enormous amounts of pressure on Pakistan.